No, it is not. It is not. What kind of medication do they get put on? They either get put on birth control or metformin. Yes, they prescribe metformin. Yes. Okay. Is Zepbound good for PCOS with insulin resistance? Good in what way? Good in what way? Good in what way? It depends what you mean by good. Does it work? It does work, yes. Is it good? But I would argue no, absolutely not. But will it work? Yes, it will work, okay? So that's the hard way, okay? That's the hard way to get tested for insulin resistance is where you actually go get a blood test, okay? Let's talk about the easy way. What's the easy way to get tested for insulin resistance? Just a little bit of self-assessment. Just a little bit of self-assessment. You can self-assess for this, okay? It's very obvious, very obvious. So let's go through some of these self-assessment questions. Let's go through some of these yes, it is. Low testosterone is insulin resistance. Yes, at a certain age, men do start to lower their testosterone levels, but if you have insulin resistance, those testosterone levels are in the bottom. They're at the bottom of the barrel. They're at the bottom of the barrel. Does insulin resistance contribute to non-alcoholic fatty liver? Yes, it does. It is the root cause of non-alcoholic fatty liver. And I've talked about this. The CGM to track would be incredible. If you are able to get your hands on a CGM, you are going to be able to track your blood sugar. Okay. So let's go through some of the easy ways to test for this. What is the easy way? The easy way is very simple, guys. It's just a little self-diagnosis, just a little self-assessment, okay? Because insulin resistance is very obvious if you know what to look for. The problem is your doctor doesn't teach you this. Why your doctor doesn't teach you this is your doctor doesn't know. Your doctor doesn't know. They don't get taught this in medical school. You know what they get taught? They get taught how to... Here's another pill. Here's another pill. Here's another pill. Here's another pill. But that's okay. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you how to self-assess a little bit, okay? So what are some of these symptoms of insulin resistance? What are some of the symptoms that if you are any of the illnesses that I just talked about, PCOS, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, non-alcoholic fatty liver, all those is insulin resistance. Like you're already insulin resistant. We don't need to diagnose you. Like you're insulin resistant, okay? But if you are not yet on the spectrum of being sick because you're on a medication or you have a lifestyle condition, okay, I'm going to show you some of the signs to look for that are telling us, hey, we're heading that direction, okay? All right. So insulin tests are a game changer for my mindset. It wasn't even about losing weight anymore. Good. I love that. Okay. So here, I want you to put a 1 in the live if you recognize any of this. Okay. If you recognize any of this in yourself. All right. Number 1 is this. Have you been told by a doctor that you need to lose weight? If you've been told by a doctor that you need to lose weight, I want you to put a 1 in the live. Okay. If you've been struggling to lose weight, you've been counting all the calories, you've been doing all the diet plans, you've been doing everything, and your weight is not budging, put a 1 in the live. I want you to put a 1 in the live if you have extreme hunger pants during the day. If you're not eating, every couple hours, you feel like, oh my gosh, your stomach's going to fall out. Put a 1 in the live. I want you to put a 1 in the live if you're always hungry all the time. Your appetite's never satiated and you're always craving a lot of sugar. Put a 1 in the live. I want you to put a 1 in the live if you feel shaky, lightheaded, or dizzy if you skip a meal. If you skip a meal, do you feel like shaky, lightheaded, or dizzy? Or if you skip breakfast, you just feel like the whole world's going to shatter. You feel lightheaded. You just can't function. Put a 1 in the live. Are you somebody who's struggling with a sugar addiction? You're always wanting to eat lots of sugar. That's the only thing that makes you happy. That's the only thing that makes you feel satisfied momentarily. Put a 1 in the live. I want you to put a 1 in the live if you feel tired all the time. Your energy's low. Your motivation's low. Some days you just want to lay in bed. You just have no energy. You don't want to go to the gym. You don't want to hang out with your friends. You just feel so tired all the time. I want you to put a 1 in the live if you need caffeine throughout the day in order to keep your energy level stable. If you don't have caffeine, you cannot even talk to anybody if you don't have caffeine, okay? I want you to put a 1 in the live if you are struggling with sleep. You're waking up in the middle of the night. You're jolting awake, maybe 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and you are really struggling to really sleep through the night, okay? I want you to put a 1 in the live if you are dealing with adult acne, if you have psoriasis, rosacea, eczema, or any other inflammatory skin condition. I also want you to put a 1 in the live if you have skin tags or you have hyperpigmentation under your armpits, behind your neck, or even in your groin area, or sometimes in between your legs, okay? I want you to put a 1 in the live if you have anxiety or depression. And I want you to put a 1 in the live if you have chronic migraines, if you get headaches all the time. And one more, I want you to put a 1 in the live if you have acid reflux, gastritis, or IBS. Okay, guys, look at all the ones. Look at all the ones. All right, look at all the ones. These are all signs of a body that is headed towards sickness. Okay, this isn't normal. It's not normal. I know you think it's normal. This is not normal. These are all signs that your body is struggling. It needs help. Okay, it needs help and you need to do something about it. So I'm going to walk you through how we can start fixing this. Okay, Hunter, thank you so much for the gift. This is not a shock to me. Do you know what? That's amazing, Kobe Ren. Do you know that 93% of the entire adult population, okay, the entire adult population has metabolic syndrome? 93%. We are currently living through an obesity epidemic, a type 2 diabetes epidemic. 1 in 3 people have pre-diabetes and they don't even know it. They don't even know because they don't go to their doctor to check, okay? This is common, but it isn't normal, all right? Now, why are all these things signs that your body's starting to break down? Well, let's talk about the one that everybody wants to know the most, which is struggling to lose weight. No matter what you do, you can't seem to lose weight. It is not age. Okay, it is not age. It is not because you're perimenopausal. Okay, it's not because of that. It's not because you're in menopause. You do get some hormonal weight gain, but it's not that. It's not because you're too old. You're gaining weight. It's not because you have PCOS. It is because you have PCOS, but it's because of insulin resistance. It's because you have insulin resistance. Okay. Wow, Jenny, what a horrible thing to say. I'm gonna block you because that's a really mean thing to say to people. That wasn't even mean to me. It was just mean to everybody on my live and my audience. Horrible. Okay. So, John, I just went through the whole thing. I just went through all the signs. Ladies, don't sleep on the protocol. I've been taking it for 1 week and I'm already feeling good. Cassandra, I love that. Amazing. I'm going to talk more about the protocol very soon, okay? But let's talk about inability to lose weight, okay? Why does insulin resistance cause inability to lose weight? We see it in women with PCOS. We see it in people who just can't lose weight, right? Commonly in PCOS, we see it in type 2 diabetics. Why do people struggle to lose weight? Why is that a thing with insulin resistance? Well, you have to understand what happens, okay? That's amazing. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm so happy. I love that, okay? Why does that happen, all right? Well, this is what you need to understand. Your body is like a hybrid vehicle. Think of yourself like a hybrid vehicle with 2 fuel sources in your body. What are the 2 fuel sources? What are the 2 fuel sources? Well, you have glucose and you have fat. Did you know that fat is a source of fuel for your body? Did you know that? Did you know that fat is something your body can use for energy, but you just don't know how to tap into it? Well, let me explain it to you. 1 pound of fat in your body is equivalent to 3,400 calories. That means that if you are like the average person, which about 20 to 30 pounds, okay, 20 to 30 pounds of fat in your body, that means that you have about 40,000 calories available. 40,000 calories available in your body for use. Okay. Now, why is it that so many people can't access? Why is it that so many people can't access this fat? That's because they don't know how. Okay. They don't know how. And let me explain to you how to do it. So when you eat something, your insulin levels go up. Okay, don't worry, Kit Kat. I don't care about people like that. I don't care about people like that. You can ignore people like that. Listen, let me tell you something. Let me be super clear to everybody who is on my live right now, okay? I am here for the people that need me. If you don't need me, I don't care. I'm here for the people that need me. I'm here for a bigger reason. When people come on my live and they say all these things, I don't care. It doesn't matter for me. The people who have worked with me and the people who are searching for a solution, that's me. I'm here. And if you don't want that solution, it's okay. It's okay. Go about your life. Go about your day. All right. So it doesn't affect me, guys. Doesn't affect me. So what happens, okay, is that your body, when you eat, that glucose is available, okay? And insulin, all right, insulin rises in your body. When insulin's up, what happens is that the body, okay, thank you so much, Chino, for the heart. The body cannot burn fat. Okay, why can the body not burn fat when insulin's up? Insulin is up. Thank you, Cassandra. When insulin's up, the body can't burn fat because it has to deal with the sugar, right? The sugar that's coming in, it has to start putting that energy in places, right? It has to, yes. It's storing, Chris. Exactly. Okay. And so your body has this first physiological state. Thanks, Nikki, for the case life, which is that your body has to store that food. It has to take the food. Here's some sugar. Thank you. It has to take that food and it has to store it. So when insulin's up, the body isn't thinking about burning. It's thinking about storing. Okay. Now, when your blood sugar comes down, and that is finally inside the body and everything has been stored and used, insulin can come down. And when insulin comes down, now your body can switch fuel sources. Okay, it can switch fuel sources. What it switches fuel sources to is fat. Okay, so how does that happen? Fat in the body is stored as something called triglycerides. Okay, triglycerides are stored in the fat cell. Hi, Victor, they're stored in the fat cell. Okay, and when insulin's down, it prompts the fat cell to release triglycerides into something called fatty acids. So the triglycerides break up into fatty acids. Those fatty acids, ketones are the other source of fuel for your body. Your brain loves ketones. It's so much energy for your body. So when your body's insulin comes down, that is how you burn fat. Okay? If your insulin levels are always up, if your insulin levels are always high, your body physiologically cannot burn fat, okay? And burning fat is not the same thing as losing weight. This is why there are people who are skinny fat, okay? Because burning fat is not the same thing as losing weight. You can eat, Freddie, thank you so much. You can eat in a calorie deficit, okay, for X amount of time. Right? And I'll talk more about calories right now, okay? But you can eat a calorie deficit. You can start starving yourself. Eat less, okay? You will lose weight, but will you lose fat? It depends what you eat. It depends what you eat, right? Thank you so much, HRW. It depends what you eat, right? You may lose muscle mass. You may lose bone density. Losing weight is not the same thing as losing fat. You don't want to lose weight. You want to lose fat, right? And so why people get upset when they go on a calorie deficit and they don't look the way they want to look is because they're not actually burning fat. They're just losing weight. Okay. Now, let me explain to you calories. Let's talk about calories for a minute and how they come into play here. Okay. Because here's the reality. There is no two ways about this. You cannot burn fat when insulin's high. Why women with PCOS, why type 2 diabetics, why people who are insulin resistant struggle with weight loss is because their body is unable to burn fat. Okay. Lisa, thank you so much for that. You're awesome. Now, how is this relevant to calories? Where does calories come into all of this? Because I am not saying that calories don't matter, right? People will come in here all the time and say, oh, yeah, the law of thermodynamics doesn't exist. All right? Well, let's talk about it. Let's explain ourselves properly, okay? So you understand, and whenever somebody says it to you, you can explain it too, okay? So let's talk about the law of thermodynamics, all right? What is the first law of thermodynamics? Energy cannot be either created or destroyed. Okay, great. How does this apply to the human body? Well, people will say this. They'll say, if you are not losing weight, then you are not in a calorie deficit, right? Calories in minus calories out, that is your energy expenditure, right? And so if you eat less and you move more, you can lose weight. If you eat more than you move, then you can't lose weight, right? And that's how it's commonly talked about, right? And so when people talk about insulin, when people talk about hormones, everybody will say, no, it's just calories, okay? Well, let me educate you, okay? Calories in versus calories out equals weight loss is what has to happen for something to happen, okay? It's like somebody telling you that in order for it to be daytime, the sun needs to come up, okay? In order for there to be daytime, the sun needs to come up. Okay, great. Thank you so much for that information. How does the sun come up? Well, the sun doesn't come up, right? We spin, right? We spin, and then we end up on the side of the sun. Anyways, it doesn't matter. The point is that what has to happen for something to happen doesn't actually tell us how to make that thing happen, okay? And so if somebody tells you, in order for you to lose weight, you need to burn more than you eat, how do you make that happen? How do you make that happen? It is insulin. insulin, right? Insulin is how that happens, all right? And so people are here, okay? People are here, and sorry for my flat earthers. Sorry to offend you, any flat earthers out there, okay? In order for this to happen, it's insulin that's involved. It's insulin that's involved, right? So what controls your calories in and what controls your calories out is insulin. So you are here trying to eat less. Meanwhile, your insulin is out of whack. And so what happens? You eat less, you get hungry, you're out of your calorie deficit. Now you're yo-yo dieting for the rest of your life. Well, let me explain to you how to optimize this better. Because what happens is the minute your insulin actually comes down, you will burn more calories, okay? You will start to impact that energy expenditure. So let's go through that for a minute, okay? What is calories in? Calories in is how much you eat, okay? It's the food that you intake. What controls calories in, guys? What controls calories in? Does anybody know what controls calories in? What controls the food that you eat? Is it your willpower? Is it your discipline? What is it? What controls how much you eat? Well, it's hunger, okay? It is hunger, right? How is hunger determined in the body? It is hormonal. What controls hormones in the body? Insulin, okay? So let's talk about the hunger hormones for a minute, all right? Let's talk about the hunger hormones for a minute. So you have hormones in your body that control your hunger and your appetite and your satiety, okay? A person with high insulin levels is always going to feel more hungry than a person with low insulin levels. Always, 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 always. Why? Okay? When your insulin levels are very high in your body, firstly, your body can't access fat. Fat is the second biggest fuel source. It is the biggest fuel source that you have in your body, okay? And if you can't access the fat, you're going to feel hungry, right? So when insulin's high in the body, you're going to feel more hungry because your body is unable to access its largest source of fuel. You're going to be looking for fuel outside of the body because your body can't burn it. Your body's not able to burn those stored calories. And so it's constantly wanting food from outside. So when insulin's high, you're going to feel hungry because your body can't access fat. What's the second reason you're going to feel hungry when insulin's high? You're going to feel hungry when insulin's high because when insulin's high, blood sugar is also high. Blood sugar is going like this, okay? Blood sugar is going like this. And anytime your blood sugar goes up and down, up and down, up and down, that triggers hunger. Anytime your blood sugar drops and you have valleys and peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys, that triggers hunger. That happens because insulin is not controlled. Why else do you feel hungry? Insulin is hormonal. So what happens is you have a hunger hormone. It's called ghrelin. When insulin's high in the body, this ghrelin hormone starts to be secreted more and more and more and more. So you start to get more and more ghrelin production. And the hormones that produce satiety, like leptin, GLP-1, cholecystokinin, peptide YY, no secretion. So insulin's high, your hunger hormones are activating, your satiety hormones are suppressed. Not only that, but when insulin's high, your cells are overwhelmed. Your mitochondria that's trying to process all this energy can't get the energy. So now you're going to feel hungry. So somebody will tell you, okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think this explanation makes more sense than somebody telling you it's your willpower and your discipline? Okay, yeah. We all made, the entire population made a coordinated effort to just have less discipline. Right? We're in an obesity and a diabetes epidemic because we all decided at the exact same time that we just aren't going to have discipline. We all, as a population, we all decided that. Come on, guys. Let's use a little logical thinking, right? So calories in is dictated by hormones. When insulin's high, you're going to feel hungry all the time. If you want to feel less hungry, you got to bring your insulin levels down. That's the only way. When your insulin levels come down, now your body starts tapping into the fat. Why is it that when your body starts tapping into fat, you feel less hungry? Well, it has to do with ketones, okay? Ketones have a very similar caloric value to glucose. So when glucose is in the blood, your body's being fed. When ketones are in the blood, your body is also being fed, right? And so even though you are low insulin and the body's using fat, and maybe you aren't eating, the body's eating the fat. It's eating the fat. So now your body is burning fat. The ketones are being released. Those ketones are in the bloodstream. Your brain is happy. You don't feel hungry, right? So calories in is driven by hormones, insulin, blood sugar, right? It's driven through insulin. Insulin is what controls your hunger. So if you want to feel as hungry, you got to bring insulin levels down. Let's talk about calories down for a second, right? Let's talk about calories down. Oh, just exercise. You just gotta go to the gym. You can go to the gym till kingdom come. That will never fix your insulin resistance, okay? And I'll tell you why. Your BMR, thank you, Wills, for the, what is that? For the hearts? Your BMR, I'm going to show you a little graph so you can see. I like visual examples. Okay. I don't have a recorded session, Jono, but I come on live every single day. After how many hours of fasting are ketones released to the blood? And it depends on your metabolic flexibility. The more metabolically flexible you become, the faster it happens. If you are somebody who's not metabolically flexible, it will happen a lot slower. Thanks, Glowbar, for the donut. This is why people struggle with fasting at first, okay? This is why people struggle with fasting at first, because their ketone production isn't really happening yet. There's no momentum to the ketone production. And so why people struggle with fasting at first isn't because they don't have a lot of energy there. They obviously do. It's that the body hasn't learned yet how to access it. And so the ketones aren't being produced. But the more you do it, the more ketone production will happen. So how fast does it happen? It depends on how metabolically flexible you are. It depends on your metabolic health. Okay? But I want to show you. Let's talk about calories out now. Okay? Guys, if you guys are finding this valuable, like the live, share the live. Like the live and share the live if you're finding this valuable. And then I'm going to talk about BMR. Okay, and I'm going to show you how we're going to raise that BMR, how we're going to fix that thing, because eating less, not the solution, okay? Raising your BMR, that is the solution, okay? So let's talk about it, all right? Robert, you actually have to like it. You don't just put like. If you put like, Robert, but you don't actually like it, it doesn't really help me. You got to actually send the likes. You see how that works? Okay. All right, so let's talk about energy expenditure, okay? Let's talk about total energy expenditure. There are four things that, I'm just joking, Robert. Guys, I'm a joker here. I'm sarcastic, okay? You guys gotta roll with the punches here. All right, what's the difference between starving, not eating, and fasting? I'm gonna talk about a beautiful disaster. Don't worry, we'll get there, okay? So let's talk about BMR for a second here, okay? What is BMR? BMR, or total daily energy expenditure, okay, is made up of four different things, okay? I want you to see clearly what makes up the most of this energy expenditure, right? This is called TDEE, total daily energy expenditure, okay? What makes up your TDEE, or your calories out, okay? What makes up your TDEE is four things. The first thing is your exercise activity thermogenesis, okay? So exercise, if you go to the gym, if you go for a walk, if you go run, that is part of your energy expenditure. What's the second part of your energy expenditure? The second part is your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So that is things like when you go like this, when you shake your knee, when you tap on the desk, when you talk with your hands like I do, right? This is much higher for me than most people because I'm always talking with my hands, okay? So that's your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. What is your TEF? That is the thermic effect of food. How much calories, how much energy it takes for your body to digest food, okay? And what is the highest? Okay, what is the highest in all of this? The highest is your basal metabolic rate, okay? Which is all the energy that your body needs to function, for your brain, for your heart, for everything to move, all right? Now, we are so focused on one small part of your total energy expenditure. More than 90% of your energy expenditure has nothing to do with exercise. It has to do with the movements you don't realize are happening. It has to do with the food you eat. And most of all, it has to do with your basal metabolic rate. Do you know what raises your basal metabolic rate? Do you know what increases basal metabolic rate in your body so you can eat more and not have to move more, okay? Insulin. Insulin raises your basal metabolic rate by roughly about 500 calories. So just by lowering your insulin levels, you could eat 500 more calories per day and not gain any weight. Okay, so insulin is responsible for your BMR, right? So instead of you trying to eat less, why don't we lower the insulin levels and the BMR goes up? And now you don't have to eat less. Your body's just burning energy. And that is what metabolic health is, okay? Can I agree with the science that building muscles can help with the absorption of glucose? Absolutely you can. That is correct science. Yes, your muscles are a huge glucose sink for the body. So when you have, but let's get something straight. What is required for glucose uptake into the muscle is contraction. Okay, so if you have a lot of muscle but you're just sitting, there is no glucose uptake. The glucose uptake only happens when there's contraction. So a great thing to increase glucose uptake after meals is to go for a walk. Go for a walk after eating. That's going to increase the contraction. That's going to increase glucose uptake. The more muscle you build, the more glucose uptake, but you have to have a lot of muscle or you have to contract that muscle. But yes, you can absolutely agree with that. That is sound science, solid science. Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Okay? So what is my point in saying all this? My point in saying all this is that it isn't just about eat less and move more, okay? It's about understanding that insulin drives hunger, insulin drives fat burning, insulin drives BMR. If you bring those insulin levels down, all that will sort itself out, I promise you. You won't even have to think about it because it's just happening naturally. Your body is working properly. Everything is working properly, okay? So constant hunger and inability to lose weight are both symptoms of high insulin levels, and they are because of high insulin levels, nothing more. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're undisciplined. It's not that you don't want it bad enough, okay? You've just never been taught this, and that's why I'm here to teach it to you, okay? Let's talk about something else that people struggle with, which is